Hello, this is Rita Liu and you're watching The Shift Asia. And of course, what we do here is we talk about sustainability and everything around sustainability. The Global Peace Foundation Malaysia aims to promote an innovative, values-based approach to peace building, guided by the vision that all human beings are members of one family. They do a lot of things. And it's led by Dr. Thye. So we're going to find out a little bit more about what they do. So the Global Peace Foundation, a nice big name, right? But when did you start this and why did you start this? The aim behind the Global Peace Foundation.
Yeah, so in 2011, a few of us, friends, decided to establish the Malaysian chapter of the Global Peace Foundation, which is an international organization. And the reason why we got it registered in Malaysia is because we resonate very well with the vision that says that, human being, regardless of race, religion, nationality, we are all the same, one human family.
Right.
And no one should be left behind. We can, coexist peacefully. That inspired me because I've always wanted to contribute to the community and society at large. So our aim at the beginning was purely to empower underprivileged communities. But over years, this has evolved into focusing on the Orang Asli community in fostering, resilience and cohesiveness in the community.
Right, and that was 2011.
Yep.
Right, so that's 12, 13 years already. So I'm just thinking as well, since you started over 10 years ago, what were the earlier challenges? And I guess, what are the current challenges?
Yeah, so when we started our work with the Orang Asli, it was a friend of mine who brought me to a village to understand the plights and struggles. And I saw some of the struggles I've never seen in Malaysia, and these are lack of access to basic necessities, like clean water, sanitation, proper road, housing, and so on. So our first project and the initial years were focusing on providing access to clean water.
Right.
And of course, having no background in engineering or water treatment, it was a steep learning curve for us to identify the appropriate technology.
Right.
And partners who can work with us to provide solutions that are that address the needs, at the same time something that the community would accept. Right? And we were successful in doing that after several years of trial and error. Right now, we have also diversified our approach into tackling other issues, more complex issues like school dropouts,
right.
Very high school dropouts rates in some of the villages.
Okay.
Sustainable livelihood.
Right.
A lot of Orang Asli families used to be hunter-gatherers,
yes.
and the forest is gone, and they struggle with putting food on the table. So the challenge also evolved into how we can understand better their cultural norms, their beliefs, traditional practices, and identify solutions that is sustainable as well.
Right. And then just now earlier on, you said to come up with solutions that are acceptable to them. What do you mean by that? Yeah,
so the Orang Asli has their unique and sensitive culture, norms, and tradition. Yeah. And so when we identify an approach, it's important that we do not force it on them. Yeah. Because we want to, the Orang Asli want to preserve their cultural norms, and we want to respect that. So a proper consultation and getting them to participate in the decision making is very crucial. Otherwise, you might do a project, and if it is not widely accepted, they might just abandon it after a while.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we've seen.
So important, right? They are involved in the decision making as well, and then not to think that our way is always the right way.
Yes.
Right, because they have their own needs and all that. And your initiatives are around fostering resilience and a cohesive community. How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, so over the years, we've developed something we call community empowerment framework. It's in the shape of a pyramid. Okay. And at the bottom is addressing basic necessities like access to clean water, energy, sanitation, housing. And these are very essential because without this, their well-being is affected, their health, but it's also not enough just to provide access to basic necessities, because the next level of struggles of a lot of Orang Asli families are related to low literacy, school dropouts, and poverty. Okay. So our next level of our intervention or programming is to improve education outcomes, is to provide options of sustainable livelihoods to the Orang Asli family. And the last level of our approach is to build the community, to get the community organized, to cultivate local leadership. So that one day when we are not around, the community has their leadership to drive. And
that's true sustainability, right?
Exactly.
Where I'm not dependent.
Exactly.
And I can run things. So you do a lot of things, and then very interesting, you talk about the farms, and you've helped them with clean water and sanitation, you've helped them with the solar panels, and you say this is the easy part, although it's not, but this is the basic, right? And you've helped 68 families with regenerative food farms. What's that?
Yeah. So essentially, farming is the livelihood of many Orang Asli families today. The Orang Asli used to be, traditionally hunter-gatherers in the forest, but as everybody knows, forest is diminishing, and they struggle. A lot of them struggle because they have no skills to do many other things. So many of them ended up planting rubber trees, rubber tapping, doing unskilled labor work in the plantation. So during the COVID lockdown, we noticed that Orang Aslis are very vulnerable. Many families, they couldn't put food on the table, have no income, no saving. And right after the lockdown, we did a survey. And we found out the interest in farming, food farming, is very high, especially among the women. So we started looking for solutions or options that they can adopt, that can farm, and they can put food on the table, provide nutrition for the children. So we wanted a farming approach that can heal their land. A lot of their lands are degraded after clearing and all that. So the regenerative farming came into the picture. We were blessed to have identified a partner who is doing that in Johor. They're called 𝗚𝗃𝗏𝗏.
Okay.
And without using any external fertilizer, no pesticides, they are able to grow very diverse crops, fruits, vegetables, and sustainably, and not even using a lot of water for irrigation, because the method uses natural principles. Because essentially, the forest is the best model of fertility and sustainability. Right? There's no fertilizer, there's no irrigation, but forests are flourish very well. So adopting some of the principles that how you care for the soil by covering the soil with a lot of organic matter. Organic matters come from plants that you plant to be pruned. Right. And these things you cover the soil and they decompose right there. And they provide food for the soil microbes. Okay. And over years, the soil organic matter improve, and that's when the fertility.
That's how nature intended it, right?
Exactly. That's how the forest.
That's how the forest grows anyway.
Yes.
So this is what you call syntropic farming?
Yes. Yeah.
So this is a method learned from another farm in Johor?
Yeah. So the syntropic agroforestry originated from Brazil by a gentleman called 𝗚𝗏𝗏, who's done many years of research on forest and farming. And his method has proven to produce very high quality fruits and vegetables without external inputs. And by external inputs, any kind of things you bring from outside. It could be cow dung, it could be chemical fertilizer. But without that, you can actually regenerate the soil, the ecosystem, if you understand the principles of how forests grow. And we're lucky to learn this method. And when we brought the Orang Asli farmers to look at the farm in Johor, they were very impressed. Orang Asli used to farm within the forest. The soil is very good. There's nothing to worry about. But when the forests are gone, soils are very degraded. Okay. So when they see this farm having that forest-like, fertility, they're very excited.
Okay. Yeah. What are they growing, and I guess how are they selling it?
Yeah. So we started the project over the last 2 years. And we encourage them to choose what they want to plant. And so it's not a monocrop thing. They can put in things like durian. Some of them actually planted the jungle durian.
Okay.
It's very special. Forest fruits that they like, along with coconut, mango, mangosteen, banana, cassava, and
Thye.
Good one, Thye, yes.
That's crucial.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Now, so that's and then they go out. That you help them in the distribution, in the selling.
Yes. So right now, most of the harvests are short-term crops.
Okay.
Like the cassava, banana, pineapples. They are within 1-2 years. But the long-term trees like durian take 5-7 years. So they haven't harvested yet.
Yeah.
And our role right now is to continue to coach them. There needs to be a lot of hand-holding because to manage a farm requires a lot of knowledge and also dedication.
Right.
So we want to sustain their motivation. We gather the farmers once in 2 months to continue to learn, to get them to share their experience and encourage each other.
Okay. You're also working with the children and youth. How are you doing that?
Yeah. So we found out that some villages have very high dropouts. Some villages has 20 children that have never been to school. These are like grown-up, children in the primary, secondary school age. And it's very worrying because we're talking about the AI and industrial, revolution and all that. But a lot of them can barely write their own name. So we started initiative in villages of identifying parents, especially young moms who could do some basic teaching.
Right.
And we train these young mothers to teach the children in the village. And in some villages that we could not find anyone to teach, my team would go in at least 2-3 times a week to provide them with learning. And the learning that we are providing is not just about literacy and numeracy. We're also incorporating arts, music, and something of their own tradition. So recently, my teacher has been getting a makcik who is very well versed in their sewang, is their own dance, to teach the children. Because there's no proper way of passing down that culture and tradition. We want to make sure this culture is preserved in the community.
And when you look at the Orang Asli community, so that they are the biggest concentration is in Pahang?
Pahang and also Perak.
Pahang and Perak, okay. Do you have employees or is everyone a volunteer? And I guess how can someone volunteer?
Yeah. So to do long-term work with the community, we have to hire full-time staffs because the work requires trust building. It's a lot of training, coaching along the way. And our project usually range from 6 months to 2 years. But we also recruit volunteers because there are work that are more labor-intensive, like building a washroom, painting, a new house. Farming, some of the farmers are quite elderly or women. It's very physical, so volunteers do help. So we're also very glad that some of our corporate partners, they come aboard, they bring a busload of volunteers to work in the village for a day or two. And that's helping not just helping the villages, but also providing exposure for people in the city to get to know the Orang Asli as well. So people who are interested to volunteer with us, they can always write to us or just send us a message.
Okay, so and what kind of, you're looking for all kinds of partners. So I guess what you are an NGO?
Yes.
An NGO, so this is where I guess people can also come in and corporate come in, and then that's where they also come in with funds as well.
Yes.
Right.
So we welcome partners, corporates, other institutions who are interested to empower the Orang Asli community. We're particularly looking for people who believe in a long-term approach, sustainability, and not just a one-off donating clothes or food. They do help, but the long-term impact are usually through long-term programs like education, livelihood. There are corporations who fund one specific project, and there are corporates who fund a long-term project, and we welcome both as well.
Okay. So what are the plans for 2024?
We are excited because we're planning to set up a school. So right now, the education program are scattered in small villages, and we have not enough manpower to monitor the progress. So we're currently raising funds, also identifying a piece of land where we can build a school. We're going to call it a forest school.
Okay.
Because the concept is incorporating the Orang Asli culture and norms in the school, that the children will feel at home. They feel like in a village.
Right.
And there will be a lot of nature-based learning, not just in a classroom that is surrounded by four walls. So we want to provide learning environment that would attract and appeal to the Orang Asli children.
Right, okay, so looking forward to an exciting 2024. Dr. Thye, and of course, we've been speaking about the Global Peace Foundation Malaysia. You've been watching The Shift.